Love lives here.
So how many of you say thank you? We say it all the time, don't we? We say thank you in emails and checkout lines, when somebody holds the door, when somebody looks at you cross-eyed, whatever. We always say thank you. We're saying it all the time. And it's too easy, or these words are too easy or so easy to just toss around lightly, right? With this lighthearted feeling, without a whole lot of feeling behind them. We say thank you to be polite, right? We say thank you to express acknowledgement. Thanks, right? Or we even say thank you just like to exchange pleasantries, right? It's just common courtesy. It's just, thanks. You know, somebody sends you a text or whatever, they answer a question for you, and what do? You type back, THX, thanks, or type back, TY, thank you, right? It's just so part of the culture, and so it can lose its meaning if we're not paying attention to it. But thank you are two powerful words. For expressing gratitude from a spiritual perspective is about perception and presence. It's the heart. It's tuning into the heart so that you can hear the truth that is always there. And what is that truth? That life is always giving. Spirit withholds nothing. Spirit does not deny us anything. It's forever and ever giving. It is the ever givingness of Spirit. This is what Ernest Holmes called love. This is how Ernest Holmes defined unconditional love. And Spirit is always responding to us, right? And we're always held in the arms and the presence of Spirit. So Ernest Holmes reminds us that we live in a spiritual universe whose laws are immutable and good. And that gratitude is how we remember that truth, especially when life feels messy, uncertain, or overwhelming. And there are certainly plenty of reasons not to feel grateful. We face challenges every day. Challenges in our families, in our health, our work, our relationships, finances, politics, right? We face these challenges. And so sometimes it might feel like, there's really not that much to be grateful for. But gratitude doesn't ask us to ignore any of the challenges that we're experiencing in our lives. Gratitude rather invites us to recognize that something greater is happening through it. Gratitude invites us to recognize that something greater is happening through our lives. Gratitude isn't something that we do because our lives are perfect. Gratitude is what helps us see the perfection underneath the circumstances. Much the way it did for, before I say that, how many of you read the email this week? Okay. I'm thankful for you. Now, so again, gratitude is what helps us see the perfection underneath the circumstances, right? Much the way those that you read my email already know that me watching Oprah with Sarah Von Brannock while eating questionable Kung Pao chicken in a dingy motel room in Madison, Wisconsin on Thanksgiving 1998 did for me, right? Shifting my perspective from what was miserable because the questionable Chinese food was the only food available in that college town that day, to shifting and being grateful that I was eating questionable Kung Pao and had a warm place to stay, even though it was a dingy old Howard Johnson's. So, When we choose gratitude, my beloveds, we come back into alignment with the deeper reality beneath the surface of our lives. We take our attention off of the fear and deliberately place it on possibility. And as soon as we shift our intention, what happens? As soon as we shift our intention, what happens? Things change. Exactly. Thank you, Maria. Situations change, circumstances change. We shift our experience, right? So it's just like adjusting a radio. If you don't like what you're hearing, you don't yell at the radio, do you? Maybe some of you do. You don't usually yell at the radio. You just change the station, right? And so gratitude, my beloveds, is how we change the frequency to spirit. Here at CSL, we teach that thought is creative, don't we? Yes, thought is creative. And so gratitude is one of the most creative thoughts that we can have, which is why Thanksgiving is part of the spiritual mind treatment, is part of our affirmative prayer. It's the fourth step. We always go to gratitude before we close out our treatment or before we close out our prayer, right? So the thanksgiving that we're talking about there is we're giving thanks in advance before the healing, before the clarity, before the breakthrough. What we're saying is, I trust the law, I trust the process, I trust Spirit to guide me. And the law is the spiritual law, right? It's the law that only says yes. It is the law of creation. It is the law of co-creation. We plant the seed into the soil, the law. We plant the high idea into the law, which then creates the form, which then creates the experience. So it is this law, just like the soil, it's this law that we are trusting. We're trusting the law. We're trusting Spirit. We're trusting Spirit to guide us. So gratitude is an act of spiritual agency. It's choosing to stand in our power, to stand in our faith, instead of reacting from fear. So when you say thank you for a situation that hasn't yet resolved, you're not pretending that it's already solved. You're not pretending that, oh, it's done, right? What you're affirming is you are affirming the wisdom and intelligence of the universe already moving on your behalf. And that's powerful. Because what you're doing is you're stepping into co-creation. You're stepping into participating in your own becoming. Holmes wrote, "Prepare to receive more than you have ever imagined." And gratitude is that preparation. You can think of it as spiritual oxygen. As soon as you breathe it in, your whole being expands. So let's try that. Let's breathe in gratitude. And exhale. And notice that your whole being expands. Your vision expands. Your courage expands. Your sense of possibility expands. A grateful heart becomes a larger container for life to just pour more into. When we withhold our gratitude, however, when we wait for life to change before we say thank you, we shrink. Our vision narrows. Our thinking contracts. And our energy tightens. But gratitude is the muscle that keeps us open. So gratitude becomes a habit. We carry ourselves differently, don't we? When gratitude becomes a habit, we speak differently, we listen differently, we respond differently. Because gratitude itself teaches us to look for the good. Look for the good in the questionable Kung Pao chicken. Look for the good in the dingy hotel room. You see, our brains are wired for survival. So the brain wants to scan for what's wrong. The brain wants to scan for what's wrong, what's missing, what's dangerous. But gratitude rewires our brain. It rewires that instinct. It redirects our attention from the threat to the blessing, from lack to possibility, from fear to trust. Gratitude is how we tell our nervous systems, hey, dude, you're safe. You're supported. You're guided. It's all good. Take a chill pill. Relax. Gratitude does that. Gratitude rewires our brains. So, my beloveds, gratitude isn't just a list. Yes, that Thanksgiving was the first time I ever started gratitude journaling. And that day I wrote well over 80 things that I was grateful for. And then I committed to write at least 10. Sarah Von Branach was, you have to write 5. And I was like, 5 is too easy. I'm going to go for 10. And believe me, there were some days when it was hard to get to 2, but I did. Because that's when it comes down to, okay, I'm breathing. I've got shelter. I've got electricity, right? It comes down to the most mundane, I don't want to call them mundane, miraculous things, perhaps, that we tend to forget about, that we tend not to think about, that we tend to take for granted. But when we get there, you see, gratitude then isn't a list. It becomes a lens through which we see our lives, through which we live our lives. It changes the way we see and move through the world. The kindness of a cashier, the warmth of a cup of coffee, my fave. A parking space that opens up. A moment of clarity during meditation. A song that touches your heart. A friend that texted you just at the right time. You see, gratitude is love expressed, love acknowledged, love recognized. And when we practice gratitude, we're practicing love, the most powerful force that there is. And it moves us to act from our higher nature. Gratitude becomes compassion, generosity, forgiveness, and service. And gratitude isn't just personal. It's communal. When we express gratitude for one another, we create connection. We create safety. We create a culture where people feel seen, heard, and valued. A culture of belonging, of inclusion, of acceptance. And when somebody looks at you and says, I appreciate you, something in you settles. And so Reverend Sanja and I want to take a moment here to express our gratitude in this moment for all of our volunteers and staff who have contributed their gifts so generously this year. So, as I call your name, please come forward to receive a certificate of appreciation and also a gift from us as a token of our appreciation. So, just want to say thanks a latte. All right, Eugene Adams, Chris Barbian, Allison Berry, Alan Benson, Denise Bogan, Earl Bogan, Matt Brubaker, Frank Conley, Helen Conley. Greg Cuellar. Lorna Dela Cruz. Ken Ennison. Lou Foley. Ray Fernandez. Michelle Geyer. Debbie Gillian. Sally Goodsight. Suzanne Gray. Lyndon Hamilton. Reverend Neil Hayner. Went a little too fast for Sandra there. Sorry about that. Jason Hedge. Roxanne Johns. James Jones. Jeannie Kataoka. Mike Kataoka. Cindy Lambert. Laura Lopez. Scott Luttrell. Anthony Marroquin. Will Melendez. Max Myrick. Joe Nelson. Jubel Obian. Dr. Naima Powell. Daryl Prince. Chester Ralston. Tomorrow Ralston. Jeffrey Rica. Leslie Rockstad. Marty Ross. Vicky Ross. Ed Ryan. He went to get your pizza. Michael Satterfield. Jeannie Smith. Bill Stringfellow and Constance Stringfellow. David Taub. Dinah Williams. Stuart Williams. Corey Windsor Stevens. James Woods. And Danny Young. So we want to thank all of our volunteers and staff for all of the love and support that they have provided this community, because as a community, we are more than the sums of our parts. As a community, we come together. We take responsibility as a community. We share our love as a community. We share our talents, our skills, and our abilities with one another. So, give everybody a big hand. Thank you so much for all of what you've done for this community and continue to do for this community. Reverend Sandra and I and the Leadership Council really appreciate each and every one of you more than you could possibly know. And we love each and every one of you so deeply, so truly. All righty. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes here to share with your table what it is that you would like prayer for, or what you'd like your table to know for you in consciousness this week. Remember, no stories, just what you want prayer for, or what you'd like in consciousness, or what you'd like your table to hold in consciousness for you. And go. 2 minutes. Here we go. And 30 seconds. And 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, we're going to start with our folks who are online today.
Okay, Daryl. Okay, they're not quite ready. So Maria, let me know what your table talked about. Just sum it up.
So we had a very interesting conversation about each question. Everybody participated. Gratitude is it. And we all have great examples to share with each other. And so I'm blessed to be here. I'm glad I showed up today.
We're so glad you're here too, Maria. Thank you.
Thank you.
Table.
Now I'm going to go to who's in the Zoom room.
So in the Zoom room, we have Earl and Griselda.
All right, so I was on with Brother Earl and Griselda, and we basically just talked about always being in gratitude and thankfulness for our family and for our friends, and making sure that they know that we how much we appreciate them, and that we don't take anything for granted, that we're open and we're in your face as far as showing love and appreciation and thankfulness for what everybody does.
All right, now, Marty, I'm coming up to you.
Uh-oh.
All right, Marty, give it to us straight.
Yeah, we talked about the Chargers' chances to get to the Super Bowl.
The Chargers' chances to get to the Super Bowl. At least he's honest.
And we're grateful for that, yeah. No, we talked about the importance of gratitude and how that shifts our perspective on things, and how if we think ahead, a positive outcome as opposed to a negative outcome, or an outcome filled with gratitude, that our way is open and clear, and things flow easily that way.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Sounds like we had some really great conversations at the tables this morning. So, homework. Tomorrow, here's your homework. And everybody else, it's a suggestion. Tomorrow, it's your homework. No, I'm kidding. All right, it's important for everybody. So, your tool for thriving this week is what we're calling the gratitude pause. Rhymes with Santa Claus, the gratitude pause. So the gratitude pause, what we ask that you do is that you take 10 seconds, take a 10-second pause before each new moment. So before entering a room, before starting your car, before answering the email, before eating, take a 10-second pause before eating that and ask yourself, what can I be grateful for right now? So take a 10-second pause before each new moment, whether you're entering a room, starting the car, sending an email, eating something, and ask yourself, what can I be grateful for right now? And then notice how this pause interrupts living on autopilot and how it calms your nervous system, how it shifts your energy before you act, and how it seeds gratitude into these everyday moments instead of just waiting for the big ones. Then what I want you to do is I want you to share your experiences of the gratitude pause in the Morning Table Facebook group. So make sure that you share it there. That way we can all see how it's going for everybody and we can support each other. Ultimately, my beloveds, gratitude comes down to being more than a practice. Gratitude is a way of living. It becomes the foundation that we stand on, the lens through which we see life, and the rhythm of our soul's journey. When gratitude becomes who we are, life has more room to surprise us, guide us, and bless us. So there's power in these two words. And so I say, thank you. And so it is. And let's come together in consciousness, recognizing here and now that there is just this one life, this one power, this one presence, this love that is in all, through all, as all, expressing itself magnificently and gloriously as each and every one, as every part, every atom of creation. How grateful I am to know that it maintains and sustains its beloved creation. It withholds nothing from it. It is ever giving of itself, to itself, as itself, through itself. And how grateful I am to know that I am one with this one. I am one with this infinite power, this infinite presence. How grateful I am to know that it lives, moves, breathes, and has its being in, through, and as me, in, through, and as all of life, all of creation, as everyone gathered here this day. How grateful I am to speak this word of gratitude for this beloved community, Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, this community that comes together, that loves together, that expresses this love and this creativity, this love and this joy, this love and this peace, this love and this harmony out into the larger community, out into the world. How grateful I am that we have been celebrating love here for more than 80 years. How grateful I am for this year of transition for us. And how grateful I am for the greater possibilities yet to come on our way. How grateful I am for the love of each and every one. The service, the joy, the sharing, the connection. How grateful I am. And so I simply release this word into the law with great gratitude and high thanksgiving, knowing that we are richly blessed, and so it is. So I invite you to stand and let us share this affirmation together. I gratefully welcome every good that is unfolding in my life. Here we go. I gratefully welcome every good that is unfolding in my life. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called love. Love is in my mind. Love is in my body. Love is in everything I do. I am it. I share it. I receive it. And I move love forward because love lives here. Happy Sunday.